Welcome to a digestible week, a summary of the week's news in a digestible, easy to understand format. Week 1. In America, the fiscal cliff has been dominating the headlines. This is where the budget deficit sharply declines as a result of increased taxation and reduced government spending. The Budget Control Act 2011 set into law a grudging political compromise to cut spending by $1.1 trillion over 10 years from January 1st, 2013. The higher taxes and lower spending could cut the $1.1 trillion deficit racked up in 2012 by almost $500 billion next year, according to the Congressional Budget Office, vastly improving the government's financial picture. But the Congressional Budget Office estimates the shock treatment will send the country back to recession and push the unemployment rate to 9.1%. Deep cuts would come to both defence and non-defence spending. Government suppliers and contractors would lose business. Taxes and automatic paycheck deductions would increase for most Americans, reducing the cash they have for spending, and taxes on capital gains and dividends would rise, hitting investors. After narrowly averting a crisis over the so-called fiscal cliff, the US is now facing a second threat to its tepid economic recovery. That is the debt ceiling, which is the maximum borrowing power of government. Though raising the debt ceiling and allowing the government to continue borrowing money has historically been a routine affair, the Republican Party is committed to securing major government spending cuts as part of any deal to do so this time. However, if talks fail to secure a deal, the US could default on its debt and trigger a major global financial crisis. In 2011, uncertainty over similar brinkmanship, which only ended after a last-minute deal was secured, caused America's credit rating to be downgraded. Obama said in his weekly address that he would not tolerate any threat to raising his debt ceiling by the Republican-controlled House of Representatives. John Boehner, after a bad spell in office this week over negotiations of the fiscal cliff, was reduced to tears on TV. "So help us God," Boehner said with evident relief, ending his brief remarks after being elected Speaker of the House of Representatives for the 113th Congress, and enduring a bout of uncertainty whether he would get enough support from his Republican colleagues to win on the first ballot. He did. Just. An awkward squad of hardliners and enemies within the Republican caucus mustered just 9 votes against Boehner's re-election, failing by 8 to deny Boehner's re-election and force a second ballot that would have triggered chaos within party ranks. The vote's damp squib was an echo of the friendly fire that Boehner has already faced, as well as a symptom of the circular firing squad within the unruly Republican caucus with which Boehner has already struggled since he was first elected Speaker in 2010. In the UK, there have been issues in Northern Ireland. Disruption and violence has occurred in Belfast over the decision to fly the Union flag only on designated days. About 100 loyalists attacked officers with bricks, bottles, fireworks, and smoke canisters, and a 38-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. Some loyalists even claimed that the attacks were provoked by Republicans. To date, more than 40 police officers have been hurt. Several politicians have received death threats, and homes and property. The UK has also been in dispute with Argentina over who should own the Falklands. Argentine President Cristina Fernández de Kirchner recently contacted David Cameron demanding back the Las Malvinas, their name for the Falkland Islands. Fernández believes that she has the world's support and popular consent which could embarrass Cameron into negotiation over who owns the Falklands. However, Cameron sees this as the best way to start 2013, and with the flag flying above 10 Downing Street, and believes he can gain a lot of support as long as he does not cave in due to pressure. Cameron made a firm statement to do everything to protect the interests of the Falkland Islanders. Later this year, a referendum will be held to determine who the Falkland Islands should belong to. The National Assembly of Venezuela has met to select a leader, possibly to stand in for President Hugo Chavez while he recovers from cancer surgery in Cuba. The outcome was to announce Diosdado Cabello as the leader. If Hugo Chavez is unable to return to Venezuela to commence his new term on Thursday, Cabello will leave Venezuela, at least for the moment. Opposition leaders are calling for a new election from the people to decide the new election if Chavez does not return, whilst Cabello will be the caretaker president. As an ally of Chavez, Cabello was expected to take office as he was selected by Mr. Chavez's governing United Socialist Party of Venezuela, the PSUV. Mr. Cabello is in a position of overwhelming power, but has vowed to remain unity along with Cabello's political rival, Vice President Nicolas Maduro, in the PSUV. Chavez has been elected to leave Venezuela until 2019 and has created uproar that the decision to select another person to lead Venezuela without public consent has been left directly to the government. A cat has been detained in the grounds of a jail in Brazil with contraband goods for prisoners strapped to its body with tape. A town in Massachusetts has banned certain sized water bottles in an attempt to reduce litter. A woman was locked inside a supermarket for the night on New Year's Eve after going to the toilet and returning to find the shop closed. Thoughts of the week. Please leave comments below as to what your opinions are on what you have already heard and the following 3 questions. 1. Who should decide the future of the Falklands? 2. How should America tackle the spiralling budget deficit? And 3. Should guns be acceptable in US society or not? Thank you very much for watching our video. Please do subscribe. Also, follow us on Twitter and like our Facebook page, which can be seen in the links in the description below. I look forward to you catching up in a digestible week next week. For now, it's goodbye.